Are the certificates getting built automatically at the moment, or will they expire at some point in time? Okay. Because this is like also a common pitfall that the people learn in some point in time. The certificate expired, and then as we want to have a secure system, the system's obviously not accepting the certificates anymore, and then you don't get it running, and you have to generate new certificates. And the real deployment process that is envisioned is, of course, that the KAs are also automatically getting signed once they get installed in the local site, and therefore they all come from the same certificate authority. There's exactly this trust thing that I explained at the beginning, that they all have the same certificate authority, which is their local trust root, that does the same like you have when you have one smartphone, everything within there is trusted. And when you have a distributed version of the smartphone, namely a smart space, then you have to create the trust by having this trust anchor, and the most distributed one is to use the certificate authority, where the certificates are just signed and everybody can validate them having the public key. And so this mechanism is exactly there for the overlay formation. So the KAs are sending around, I'm still available. And so this is the one purpose. And the second that Stefan also said is this hash thing. And as I said at the beginning, the data is discovered by using the type search, for instance, or other search properties, and then to make that fast and also deterministic in when it finishes, the search is replicated on each of the KAs. So they are continuously synchronizing the structure, and the structure means what is the constellation of nodes and which are the types of these nodes and which are the access rights of the nodes. They are not synchronizing the values unless you do additional caching stuff, but in the original system they are not synchronizing any values. The good thing is though that when someone requests data from one of these knowledge agents, it does not have to issue a request if the data is not existing, because it can locally look up if the data is existing, and it can also locally look up if the access rights are fitting for this service. So if it has the access group rights that are needed to access this data, and if not, it can directly reject the request. If it can access, then it can forward the request to the target KA that has the data, and then there, of course, is another check done if the data is really to be accessed or not to be accessed. And so the purpose of the alive ping is first keeping the overlay, who's reachable, who's there, and how is this KA reachable, and second, exchanging, do you have the most current structure information of this remote KA? And this is getting exchanged by what Stefan will probably also tell us about now. And in a similar way, Alessandro, of course, you could also store some parameters about when to renew stuff or which renewal strategy, which consensus algorithm, and so on. And this is also in general the approach. So whenever you get stuck there, do not spend 3 hours in looking at it, but write something to the Slack group, and someone else will hopefully be able to respond to you. Because there are also like lots of students and former students in the Slack group, unless they remove themselves, and so they also did extensive coding there, and so therefore there should be enough helping hands. And so the connector is the thing that the people use in their executables for their services, and it allows them to use a Java API to talk to the KAs, which is good for us because it wraps then the entire request thing. And if we have more optimized protocols and so on, this can easily be implemented by just changing this connector, and therefore the service developers also don't have to care about that. The connector is also the right place if you want to implement some helper functionality that is not directly something to be in the KA. So this might be interesting possibly for some caching strategy stuff. It could be, or for requests regarding the caching, For you, Alessandro, I guess it's not important because it's on top of what you're doing, because the group keys are just used between the knowledge agents. So this is the transition from the data structure, how we store the data, to the Java object that is then passed over. And so I think what is helpful is using the picture that I showed, that there are these different components, and then, as you've probably seen, the different functionality is implemented indeed as we structured the software, and so you should be able to find it. We try to modularize it in a useful way as much as possible, with, of course, the typical overhead that you have then, that you have to wrap stuff and so on. But I think it was very, very good overview, Stefan, so thank you very much, because... yes. Hmm. And this was also the purpose today, that you just get a picture of, this is the architecture, and this is how it maps to the code. These are the things that are available, that are relevant for me. This is where I should look at. And so that you're not afraid of, oh my god, I opened the project and it has some tons of classes and I don't know where to start and where to stop. Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, so just as closing in the end. So here again the picture. So we see again here on the right, we have these different components that Stefan was looking at, and the mechanisms were for synchronizing the connectivity between these guys here and synchronizing the structure of the object repository here, because it's also sending, independent from the alive ping that we saw, it's also sending updates. So once this one is changing here, it's sending updates around over the multicast group, and then everybody tries to reflect it, and it might be that someone is missing the updates and then the hashes are not matching, and what happens then is that the one who missed it is asking the one that it missed, okay, please give me an update and give it to me ideally incrementally, so I still have your hash that is this one, just give me the increment from them, or if this is not possible, it just requests, okay, give me the data that you have, then it can update locally, and from that point in time it's again synchronized. This is, for instance, what happens also when a node goes down and then it comes back later, then it's out of sync obviously, and then it has to ask those with whom it is out of sync, which it knows from the hash that is in the alive ping in there. And yeah, and the type search here, so this is what I told you with, they synchronize the structure, and then they have these nodes here, they know, okay, the other one has the following information, and then they can locally determine already if the remote data is available. So practically the entire tree that is here is also hanging here in this management information subtree that we have without the values. And then it can look up, okay, from KA3 I have the following structure, and I also have the following access rights and so on, and therefore I can I'll just make the picture a little smaller here, and so therefore I can either route the request to the target or not do that. Okay, good. Yeah, so when there are no more questions, then good luck for continuing with the code, and we are looking forward to your implementations, because they are really bringing the system a major step forward, all three of you, because this is very important functionality, and yeah, therefore good luck. Okay, then see you. Bye.